Okay, and the pot's boiling, or the pan's boiling. All right, so people, if you're tuning in, you're probably wondering, like I was, what the hype is for these induction stovetop cookers. So let's do a quick review, and I'll put context onto this. Oh, let me turn off the timer. So my old stove, you can see my old stove, and there's a coil burner. I love my coil burner stove. I know it's old-fashioned. I know they're hard to clean. But when the sockets are in shape and, you know, everything's functioning as it should, coil burner is by far the fastest way to cook. Anyway, I got tired of cleaning it, tired of replacing the sockets. Thought I'd step up to the glass top. So I got this Vevor glass top. And it's just, you know, I just set it on top of the, you know, stove itself and wired it in as a 220. And I like it. You know, it's slow, you know, but there it is. But it's easy to clean. And so when you weigh the slowness, it's probably like twice as slow as what I had before. But it's so much easier to clean. I can deal with it. And it has this cool timer feature where you could just set the timer and walk away. That's pretty nice. Anyway, I wanted something faster. I delved down the road or stuck my toe in the water of the induction burner. I just ordered this last week. Been living with it for a little bit. So I got the 1800 watt Vevor induction portable burner. And it's interesting, and I'll tell you what I like and what I don't like. Yeah, it's, you know, it's lightweight. Yeah, you can lift it with one hand. It's portable. I suppose if you had an RV, that's maybe where you'd use this. If you need an extra burner because you're out of burners on your stovetop, okay, sure, why not? But is it going to be any faster? Well, you know, the answer will surprise you. But first off, so compatibility of cookware. So here's my carbon steel pan. Here's my cast iron, another cast iron. And then these stainless steel. Stainless steel doesn't work on induction. Cast iron works, carbon steel works. This carbon steel works. All my stainless steel spaghetti pots up there, that doesn't work. Aluminum non-stickware, that doesn't work. So I wanted to see if I could boil water with this thing. And, you know, with the induction burner. And oh my God, it was like going back in time. It was so slow. And I couldn't believe it. So rewind a little bit. I had to buy a special pot that's induction compatible. So this is my $25 8-quart Amazon purchase. And but it's induction capable, and it has its whatever required, you know, certain amount of iron in the base. Sure, whatever. So I put 4 quarts in that thing. So it was about halfway up. And I'm not going to videotape this and bore you guys. But I did make a little chart. I timed it. So 4 quarts of water in that Amazon pan on this burner took 20 minutes to get to a rolling boil. I was like, oh my God, that's forever. So then I put that same pot on this burner. And this is, you know, 220 volt, you know, flat top or glass top burner. 18 minutes. So this beat that by 2 minutes, but, you know, you could say, well, this has more watts, which maybe it does. It has a bigger surface, you know, bigger cook ring. Well, it probably does. You know, yeah, I could believe that. But 18 minutes seemed ridiculously slow. So what I did, well, let's just jump around my chart. I took my 4-quart steel pot, or I put 4 quarts in this stainless steel. This is one I've had for 30 years. And it's stainless steel, and there's a layer of copper embedded in the steel bottom. So kind of, fancy. It wasn't a bottom of the line pan, but it was kind of a fancy cook set. Anyway, I put the same 4 quarts of water on this burner, 9.5 minutes. So basically, that pot, I guess it's just a better pot than this Amazon thing that's going to get sent back. Boiled 4 quarts of water, and basically half the time is the Amazon pot. I wanted to see if there was any, maybe it was, better metal or something. Maybe if I used a pan that was compatible with the induction and the electric. Let's see which one can beat in that shootout. So I used my carbon steel pan, and that's this guy right here. So I filled it up to, certain value of water. And when it got to a rolling boil and blowing steam, it took 8 minutes. Did the same thing on this burner, 7 minutes. So again, the glass top is faster. And then I took that small carbon steel pan right there, and I had that much water in it. I don't know the volume is, but it's right up to the bottom of the 2 rivets. Actually, it was. Some of it boiled off. And on this burner, on the induction, it was 3 minutes. And on the front burner, over here, on the electric, it was 4 minutes. So, what does all this mean? What this means is, if you buy one of these, induction burners, thinking that you're going to be crazy, so much faster than the glass cooktop, no, that's not really going to happen. In fact, in many ways, as you can see, it's actually slower. Now, if you had a 220 volt cooktop that was all induction, would that give you more performance than this single 1800 watt? I don't know. I don't have one of those. But I'm just representing what the Vevor 1800 watt single induction burner is, and I'm kind of meh about it. If I go back in time, I would not have purchased this unit. If I don't think I have the box anymore, otherwise I'd send it back. I don't really know what I'm going to do with this thing because it doesn't have a roll. So anyway, here's the takeaway. If you are trying to cook as fast as you possibly can, and some of you are going to laugh, those coil burners that were originally on my stove, those things are so much faster than this glass cooktop, and this glass cooktop is faster than what this induction is. Although I'll give it credit for a small pot. If we were to only put small, appropriate size pots and pans on this little burner, okay, that one is slightly better than using my front burner here, but it's not enough of a difference to really make this worth your while. The electric coil burners are by far the fastest method of cooking. I could take this large pot back when I was using my stove. I could fill this up with water is probably, I don't know, that's probably 7 quarts up to here. And I could get this at a rolling boil in 7 minutes. And even a gas burner on high, where you're just cranking out heat all over the place, could never keep up with the coil burner. The coil burner was so much faster. So anyway, I hope that this is useful. If one of you are considering buying this Vevor, just know what you're getting. It's not going to be the godsend that you're looking for, but if you're looking for something you could throw in your RV, a cooktop for camping, okay, sure. But, my opinion is might as well just buy a coil burner for, instead of $45-50, get a coil burner for $20. All right. Hope this is helpful. I wish somebody would have made this video for me before I wasted my time buying that and buying a compatible pot and spending 2 hours of my evening doing this stupid test and writing down these stupid times. All right. Have a good evening.